Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, nerds! I'm CuppaJoey, and welcome to our first episode of our Christmas special. So for the Christmas special, I figured that I would have a look at a few different subreddits and have a little look at the Christmas posts that they have. So if you read the title, which I'm assuming that you have, today we're going to be having a look at r/entitled parents and how Christmas can really bring out the entitlement in those that have dropped a sprog. Let's have a little listen. Entitled aunt gave out pieces of paper for Christmas. My entitled aunt is a hoarder and a cheapskate, among other things, so she is constantly at my grandma's house to take care of her. It's obvious not because she wants to pay her own heating and water bills in her 2 houses she had to buy to accommodate all the stuff she's hoarding. In other posts, I've mentioned that my grandmother had 14 kids, so I get buying a present for everyone is hard, but this was insane. The preface is my uncle gives out little magnet calendars every year and has everyone's birthday on it, so there's about 80 people in my family because of all my cousins, so it's hard to keep track of. She printed out 13 pieces of paper that had this message on it. For the original 14, in an effort to revive snail mail, use Uncle's calendar to send out birthday cards to any one of us in our generation, including their spouses, any time in the month of their birthdays. Then, let me know you did, and I will set aside $5 to get Mum a Kroger/JC gift card in your name. Got to love win-wins. I'm sure I will be eating the food she buys anyway, lol. Happy New Year! So, her gift to the family is us buying her food. Thanks, Aunt Karen. Edit. Thank you so much for the support. As you can all guess, 14 aunts and uncles is a lot, and I have a lot of crazy stories that I'd love to share more about the entitlement in my family. Great stories that include but aren't limited to my grad party, my brother doing dance, my aunt having a crush on me, oh god that's weird, my dad's sickness, my uncle faking his sickness, etc. Again, thanks everyone. So I will admit there is part of me that definitely feels a little bit bad for the aunt in this situation, but after the end of it, I just, that is if OP is telling the truth, because some of it just doesn't read right to me, you know? So, first of all, the whole thing about having, 14 kids and all of the, offspring that come from them as well, and God knows how many cousins, I will admit, if I had that many cousins, I probably just wouldn't bother with presents or anything. I'm just gonna be like, you know what, let's just say that we're not family because I can't keep track. Although, to be fair, I am saying that as somebody who literally only has one first cousin, and I never see her because we are just so different people, there's absolutely no point. She doesn't even know I'm a man. Yeah, that's the kind of relationship we have. So, on that hand, I can understand, and I don't really think that anybody is necessarily entitled to gifts from other family members. I will admit my life became a lot easier when I stopped sending, not Christmas, but birthday gifts to my immediate aunt, uncle, and cousin. That made my life a lot easier because I wasn't stressing out about remembering it. And I'm just somebody that has one lot, so I can definitely get on board with that. Also, if she is a hoarder, then that's probably something that she needs help with. I mean, the whole kind of she's insane, I'm thinking, well, if she isn't, if her sanity isn't entirely there, then clearly she needs help. And again, hoarding is something that happens when people have this real sort of anxious, thing about letting people go, or letting things go rather, or, throwing things out. There's a deep anxiety there, and I can get that it is an actual problem. However, okay, so let's just assume that the whole pieces of paper, that it is completely true exactly as it's written. That is the most ridiculous, selfish thing ever. You can't basically say, my gift to you is I'm going to buy food for myself. That is absolutely ridiculous. However, having said that, who would write that? Okay, so if you were trying to, if you were being a cheapskate and you were giving out these pieces of paper and saying, look, this is worth $5 towards me to give Mum whatever, then you wouldn't just put at the end, I'm sure I will be eating the food she buys anyway, lol. And you especially wouldn't write lol at the end. Like, I mean, even with, like, proper boomer Karen Facebook mums, I just cannot see them, like, physically writing LOL on a piece of paper. So, I'm gonna admit this story's a little bit smelly, you know, it smells a little bit rotten. But all that drama at the end, like, bloody hell, I might go into that later, but hey, this is a Christmas special, so let's just focus on Christmas stories. Let's pop on to the next one. Babysit our kids on Christmas for free. Hecking hell, these parents are out here wilding lately. So, here's the story. W, hot, sexy, beautiful, very much pregnant wife. Relevant. I will admit, I thought that they were talking about the wife, like, in terms of the family of the kid that's gonna be babysat, so that came across really freaking weird to me. Until I, like, had a look at the whole story, I just wanted to pop that in now. Although I don't really do letters, I'm just gonna be referring to them as to what the letters stand for, to make it a little bit easier for you folks listening at home. Or on the bus, or wherever it is that you happen to listen to this. So wife is OP's partner, me, the husband, staring at them confused, entitled mother, annoying entitled mother, also boss, and entitled dad, also boss. So my wife and I have been married for almost 2 years now. We split in the holidays because our families live in separate cities. These people know that. This year, it's my wife's family year for Christmas. We planned it with our respective jobs, our staff, and both got approved. Only problem? My wife is a nanny. She works hourly and gets paid for the time ahead of time. She's pregnant, and the poor woman has days where my future child really just knocks it out of her. This results in her owing time, which is fair, we don't mind that, however this was just too far. So, they invited us over for dinner, and this is how it went. Entitled mother, Ghetto Duck and Mrs. Ghetto Duck, we invited you because we need to ask something. I rolled my eyes. I knew they were going to pull something. They've been notoriously self-absorbed the entirety of my wife's working relationship with them, and these people were friends that used to go to our church. So me and my wife were looking at them and waiting for them to ask whatever it was, and she looks at us with a bright-ass smile on her face. Entitled mother, you can't have off work anymore. We need you to watch Entitled Child on Christmas. I laughed, and then saw that they were dead-ass serious. My wife looked at me confused and shook her head. Explaining we already bought plane tickets to go and we are not able to get out of this. That's when the kicker comes in. Entitled dad, that's the thing, you can't say no, you owe us ours. We're going to my boss's Christmas party, there are no kids that will be there, meaning we work it for free. Granted, we wouldn't do it for money anyway, but I'm damn sure not doing it for free on Christmas. She looked at me and I could tell she felt uncomfortable. My wife doesn't do well at taking up for herself, and people often try and abuse that. None more than these people, so I shake my head no and remind them that they already approved this. We aren't doing this. They don't take no for an answer. Entitled dad, entitled child, come out and tell Mrs. Ghetto Duck how you were so excited to spend Christmas with her. So in walks this child, which granted is a very big product of her environment. She's 4 and I can't really blame her for how she behaves when her parents act like this. Entitled child, hi Mrs. Ghetto Duck, Daddy said we spend Christmas together. I excited. So now we have 2 parents trying to force this and a child I had to crush the dreams of. Basically what it came down to was me pushing my plate ahead of me and looking them in the eye. You either stop this nonsense now or she walks. For what you're paying her, you know you won't find someone else. We leave the house and my wife thanks me in the car because that was stressful for her and the baby. And then they text us and tried to call our bluff. It was basically, do it or else you're jobless this Christmas. So she hit them back with a Happy New Year because she was pissed at that point. And we didn't talk to them. However, today was her shift and they messaged her last night asking if she was still coming in. So all in all, just work for classy people who aren't stupid. And then the compulsory little edit, I just got my first platinum award. What the heck, I just posted a story from my life. Thank you, kind Redditor. I do actually remember reading this story, so I think I actually read it like right as it happened, like way before I made this channel. Oh, there are just so many like really nasty, manipulative points in here that just kind of made my stomach crawl, you know? Like, bringing out the kids, okay? So saying, oh, by the way, we now need you to work on Christmas. Of all things, to say you now have to work on Christmas, which is awful. Also the whole, oh, by the way, you owe us hours. You know, if she did owe them hours, then, I mean, surely she would be getting paid a lot more, right? Because whenever you have to work on a holiday, you get paid significantly more for that, or at least you should be. It can't just be like, we need you for a few more hours. Why not Christmas Day? And bringing out the child. Okay, so yeah, absolutely, it is not the child's fault. It cannot be the child's fault, especially not when that child is basically a freaking toddler. If the parents told them, oh, by the way, this is what you'll do, like, that's just so manipulative and so cruel, and knowing that the wife clearly doesn't have enough of a backbone to say, actually, no, I can't do this. I really hope that that was just enough for her. Like, I mean, I know that it wasn't because they said either, you know, this happens or we walk. I mean, I really hope that they walked, because having an employer like that just doesn't respect you as, like, and, like, respect your family and your needs, like, nobody should work for someone like that. Entitled mother leaves child at daycare while she goes Christmas shopping. I work at a childcare facility and we are open from 8:30 to 4:30. We have strict rules about these times. 4:30 is supposed to be the last possible time you can pick up your child, not the time you start showing up. We have a policy to charge for every 15 minutes past 4:30, but we tend to be nice and not do that if it's a one-off thing and you're there before 5. We have a child with an entitled mother who is late a lot. This year she has had to pay late fees over a dozen times and always fights it, saying, I pay you to watch my son, don't I? Anyway, this morning she comes and drops off her boy and comes up to me and says, I'm going to be a bit late to pick him up today. Usually with parents that means they'll be showing up 10 to 15 minutes after 4:30, which we accept. But I knew that this lady wouldn't be doing that. Sure enough, I asked her what time she expects she'll get here and she says, hopefully 6:30 but no later than 7. I have to do some Christmas shopping. I was shocked. She has been told again and again 4:30 is the latest she can pick him up. I replied, that isn't going to be possible. He needs to be picked up by 4:30. Later than that and you're charged. After 5:30 we call the police if we can't get a hold of you. She answers with, I have urgent Christmas shopping to do today, so you'll just need to watch him. I reiterate the policy we have and she says, you said yourself my son is a great kid. You should feel lucky to spend time with him. I thought you work here because you love kids, or do you just do it for the money? I am starting to rage inside, but I can't yell in front of the kids, so I smile, tell her again the policy we have on pickups, and tell her to speak to the manager if she doesn't believe me. She laughs and says, just do what I pay you for and watch him, and walks off. I tell my manager, who calls her after lunch, to remind her that she needs to pick up her boy by 4:30 at the latest. Apparently, she laughs it off and says she'll pick him up, so we hope that's that. 4:30 rolls around and her son is now the only kid here. We keep him entertained while we clean up and she is called but doesn't answer. By 5, my manager calls saying if someone doesn't answer the phone or come pick him up, we have to call the police. We try the emergency contact numbers, but one is a friend already out of town for the holidays and the father doesn't pick up. We wait a bit because having the police here will upset the boy, but by 5:30 we don't know what else to do. I call once more and she finally answers. When I tell her she needs to come collect her son now, the conversation goes like this. Entitled mother. I told you I was going to be late. Me. And I told you that wasn't acceptable. You're lucky we haven't called the police already. Entitled mother. Don't threaten me. You knew I was going to be late. I told you I needed to do Christmas shopping. Me. That's no excuse. You need to come get him right now or we'll have to call the police so they can bring a social worker down to come collect him. Entitled mother. You really know how to ruin Christmas, you female dog. I just wanted to get some presents. Me. Just come pick him up now. Entitled mother. Fine, you are the laziest teacher ever. You don't even want to look after one kid. With that she hangs up and at around 5:45 she pulls up. The manager tells her that this was serious and she will have to take it to the board to see if they're going to take it further, as in report her to child services or refuse a place here for her child next year. Entitled mother loses it, saying we've ruined Christmas and she could have had us all fired and that her family is used to VIP treatment in this town. Her husband makes a lot of money. and that she is disgusted we don't understand that. To top it off, when asked to leave, she grabs a $10 note out of her purse and says, "Here, I've paid the extra time, you miserable bunch I've done. Get over it. He's an angel to look after." Hopefully the boards will take action against her because she is unbelievable. And this, folks, this is precisely why I just could not stand rich people. When was the last time you ever saw anybody this entitled? When was the last time you ever saw anybody that thought that people should work an extra 2.5 hours for free just because,
"Oh, and he's a nice little angel kid anyway. You should just be grateful to look after my little crotch droppings."
you know? And I feel bad for that kid as well, because so much of this just, like, screams, like, I don't want to spend time with my child. Like, if he's that great a kid, why not just take him shopping with you? I mean, normally kids like it, right? Especially when it's Christmas shopping. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know kids very well, but at least with me and my brother, we freaking loved Christmas shopping. Like, going to get presents for people and thinking of what people would like, it was always really exciting. It's like a little treasure hunt, but you know that you're going to make somebody happy at the end of it, you know, like it's a lot of fun, so I don't see why the kid can't get involved. But even if you really don't want to be shopping with your kid, why the heck do you not just pay for a bloody babysitter if you are that bloody rich? Like, seriously, I genuinely think that Child Protective Services should have been called on this one. Because it isn't, you know, when people talk about neglect of a child and abandoning a child and, you know, leaving a child to fend for themselves, they often just put a lot of blame on people in poverty. However, this person thought that they could just, you know, exploit workers and, you know, pass off a child and be really cheap about it when they have a lot of money and can pay for, you know, the child to actually have good childcare. From most likely a very good babysitter, because if you're that rich, you can pay for somebody who has got lots of recommendations and, you know, and is known to be damn good. And, you know, at least your kid would be safe. It would be somebody who has been approved and all this stuff, as opposed to just, you know, a few, well, of course, I mean, I know that the kid is safe with the workers. But that, you know, they'd be exhausted, you know, they want to go home. If I was made to work 2.5 extra hours at the end of the day, just because, wait, what do you mean you're doing it for the money? I would be so pissed off. Like, I would leave. Like, I would not be working for free. And I do think that if she is willing to, you know, essentially let her kids nearly get taken away by a social worker just because she wanted to do some extra Christmas shopping, that is a serious warning sign of neglect, and I feel really sorry for the kids, as well as the workers that were forced to put up with that crap. Well, that's it for the first episode of our Christmas special, and for this episode of our Sash Entitled Parents. If you like what you saw today and would like to become part of the T-set, then why don't you go ahead and click that like and that subscribe button. And as I say at the end of every episode, if you enjoyed hearing from this subreddit, or would like to hear from any other subreddit, or would like to see me explore anything else, then go ahead and pop that suggestion in the comments. And until then, folks, I will see you all next time.